Hello everyone, this is Navjeet and today I'm going to present before you the topic of carbon-based fuels, under which I will be discussing about ethanol and peak oil. So let's get started. So first of all, what are carbon-based fuels? So any fuel principally from oxidation or burning of carbon is called carbon-based fuel. These are of two kinds, fossil fuel and biofuels. So the picture here represents how fossil fuel and biofuel are formed. Here I'm presenting some differences between biofuels and fossil fuels. So first of all, fossil fuels are non-renewable, which means they take millions of years to reform once they are depleted, whereas biofuels are renewable, which means they can be reformed within days or months. Fossil fuels are formed through geological process, whereas biofuels are formed through biological process, which means they are directly formed from biomass. Coal, natural gas and petroleum are fossil fuels, whereas ethanol, biogas and biodiesel are the biofuels. This is a carbon cycle of fossil fuels and biofuels. So fossil fuels have a long-term unbalanced carbon cycle, which means the carbon dioxide remains in the atmosphere for a longer period of time after combustion of fossil fuels, whereas for biofuels, the carbon dioxide remains in the atmosphere for a shorter period of time, hence they have a shorter cycle and less environmental damage. Here are some advantages and disadvantages of fossil fuels. First one is they have high energy density, which means they provide sufficient energy for a small amount, and they're also cheap and also serve as raw material for industries. So disadvantages, they are in a limited supply because they are non-renewable. They also cause global warming on combustion and ocean acidification because of carbon dioxide released upon their combustion. The oceans will absorb the carbon dioxide from atmosphere, which will lead to killing of marine life. Here are some pros of biofuels. Firstly, they are theoretically unlimited and they cause less environmental damage. Also, they lead to creation of jobs, which means for the fuel crops, the fields, so labor can work in the fields where fuel crops are grown. Some disadvantages are they lead to food insecurity because whenever fuel crops are grown, there will be a shortage of food crops, which means there will be food insecurity for people. And whenever fuel crops are grown, so monoculture is practiced, which means that crops will absorb all the nutrients from the soil, which will lead to destruction of the land. And then their energy output is relatively lower as compared to the fossil fuels. So coming on to my first related topic of the presentation is ethanol. Ethanol, as we all know, it's called ethyl alcohol or grain alcohol with a molecular formula C2H5OH, and mass is 46.07 gram per mole. It's formed from fermentation of sugar. In Canada, it's being made from corn and wheat, and finds its applications in industries as well as a fuel in vehicles. So as my topic is based on fuels, so I will be focusing on fuel ethanol. It's also called gasohol as an alternative form of fuel, and it's blended with gasoline always because it is environmental friendly in that way. And E85 blend is the one that is more commonly used. US leads in ethanol production, followed by Brazil. The first person to design a car to run on ethanol was Henry Ford. He designed Model T Ford to run on ethanol in 1908. This is how ethanol is made. Usually it's made in four-step process. So first of all, ethanol feedstock is grounded up for processing. The sugar is dissolved from the ground material, and then fermentation takes place through the action of microbes such as yeast and bacteria. Finally, ethanol is distilled to achieve a high concentration, and it's also mixed with gasoline in order to make it unfit for human consumption. So, ethanol shares its pros with the biofuels, but it has some cons of its own. So, like distillation is detrimental to environment because it leads to lot of heat expenditure, and since ethanol has high affinity for water, that means it cannot be obtained in pure form. It will somehow contain a trace of water in it whenever it's found or made. This is a ethanol cycle. So ethanol is obtained from plants, and then its combustion releases carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide is then absorbed by the plants again for photosynthesis. So this is a shorter cycle. So that means it causes less environmental damage. This is a pie chart showing global fuel ethanol production by country. So as we can see, United States is the one that is leading, and followed by Brazil and then other rest of the world. So my last related topic is peak oil. Peak oil is a hypothetical point at which crude oil production will reach its maximum, after which it will begin to decline forever. This peak oil as a concept was given by King Hubbert in 1956. So some insight into background. So Howard, he proposed that oil production for an area or for a country over a certain period of time will follow a bell-shaped curve, and he predicted that US oil production would reach its maximum between 1965 and 1970, and the prediction of Hubbert was proved true later. But later, after when US oil production began to increase steadily since 2010, Hubbert theory for peak oil was proved false. This followed criticism of this theory because people labeled it as unsubstantiated. That means it lacked any evidence or a solid proof, and also it did not consider unconventional oil, new technology, or geopolitics that plays a major role in the export of oil that is produced. So there were some future prediction and consequences of peak oil. So peak, people say that depend on demand and supply, which are a function of price. So whenever there would be more demand of oil, supply would be less because less oil will be produced, and then prices would go higher and there would be less people willing to buy those oil on high prices. There will be still some oil left in the ground because it will never get depleted, so peak would never be reached. It's believed by some people. And some also believe that oil prices are expected to rise before or by 2030. That means peak oil will reach by that year. And whenever the oil prices would rise, the economy will be affected, and it would also pave the way for new technology. So that's the end of my presentation. Feel free to ask questions or comments if any. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.